Hey everyone, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha, and today I'm going to be talking about 14 Christmas books that are on my Goodreads TBR. So I have told you what books are on my December TBR this month, and those are basically the Christmas books that I own. But I wanted to go through the books that are on my Goodreads TBR, and I'm actually really glad that I only have 14 Christmas books that I'm interested in, because maybe that means I'll be able to knock those out in the next couple of years. I know that new books will be added to that list eventually, but I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys what those 14 books were. Some of these you may have heard of because I know a lot of those are really popular right now, but some may be new to you. I do have a couple of different categories we will go through today. One of them is Christmas romance, the other is Christmas cozy mysteries, the other is middle grade, and then one is a short story collection. This may also give you a sneak peek into some of my options. I am going to pick one more Christmas book to read if I happen to get through all of my Christmas TBR, which I'm doing a pretty good job so far. So one of these books may end up being a book that I add on to my December TBR. So this will kind of give you a little bit of a sneak peek into books that I'm considering. If you see me looking down at any point in this video, I do have Goodreads pulled up, and I am going to read some of these synopses. I won't read all of them, but I will read a few. And let's just go ahead and get started with Christmas romance. The first book that I want to talk to you about is All About Us by Tom Ellen. The blurb for this one says, a chance encounter leads to the journey of a lifetime in this powerful and emotional love story, perfect for fans of One Day, Me Before You, and In 5 Years. So I have read In 5 Years, and I really loved that book. I gave it 5 stars. So that definitely gives me high hopes for this one. If you could turn back the clock, would you choose a different life? Ben's always loved the month of December, but this year, with his relationship with Daphne on the rocks, it's missing its usual magic. And then his old friend Alice gets back in touch. Ben's always thought of Alice as the one that got away, and he can't help but wonder what if he'd done things differently all those years ago. He never imagines he might get to find out, but when a stranger sells Ben a mysterious watch, one freezing winter's night, he's astonished to wake up the next morning on December 5th, 2005, the day he first kissed Daphne, leaving Alice behind. Now Ben must make the biggest decision of his life all over again. But this time around, will he finally find the courage to follow his heart? All About Us is a captivating novel of heartbreak and loss, friendship and hope, and how the choices we make throughout our lives will shape our destiny. I really like these stories where you have a little bit of time travel, or you go back in time to see what life would have looked like had you made a different choice. I think that's something that as human beings we often wonder is, what would my life look like, or how would this situation be different had I made a different choice? So I think that's why these stories intrigue me and intrigue others so much. So I really like that aspect, and also that it's a little bit of a second chance romance situation potentially as well. So I think this one has a good chance of being one that I enjoy. I don't know. It's been on my list a couple years and it's never been a top priority. I think that's because I don't really hear anybody talk about it. It does have a 3.89 average star rating on Goodreads, so you never know. This could be a good one. The next book on my list is Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. Liv from Liv's Library is the one who turned me on to this book. She randomly found it, she read it, and she told me that she thought that I would really like it. She finished it and ended up loving it, and in recent months, she's turned me on to The Dead Romantics, which is one of my new favorite romances, so I feel like I trust her taste. So this is definitely one I'm interested in, and it follows our main characters, Molly and Andrew. And Molly is meant to be catching flights, not catching feelings. So Molly and Andrew have this tradition where for the past 10 years, I think it is, they have been flying from America to Ireland every year for Christmas. So on the plane, they sit together, they drink wine, they catch up, they have fun, and they have been friends for all of this time. So this is already a setup for Friends to Lovers, which is my favorite romance trope, right beside second chance romance. But this year, the flight gets grounded. And while Molly is okay and not really bothered by Christmas and bothered by this situation, she knows that Andrew is like in love with Christmas, and he really wants to make it home to his family and his mom's Christmas dinner. So Molly takes it upon herself to make sure that Andrew makes it home for Christmas no matter what. Along the way, again, she might be catching some feelings here and fate might intervene. I feel like this is going to be a story that I really love, and it is definitely a high contender for one that I add to my TBR this month. Another book that I've really been turned on to this last year is Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. I saw Rachel from Happy Go Lovely Sleeves really rave about this one. I think she read it earlier this summer or earlier in the year before Christmas season, and she said she absolutely loved it. And I'm also seeing a lot of other people say they really enjoy it. I've seen people making these like the reels where you see all the different clips of the vibes of the book, and I'm like, this looks like my perfect read. Goodreads says, where the love light gleams, a pasture of dead trees, a hostile takeover of the Santa barn by a family of raccoons, and shipments that have mysteriously gone missing. Love Light Farms is not the magical winter wonderland of Stella Bloom's dreams. In an effort to save the Christmas tree farm she's loved since she was a kid, she enters a contest with Insta-famous influencer Evelyn St. James. With the added publicity and the $100,000 cash prize, she might just be able to save the farm from its financial woes. There's just one problem. To make the farm seem like a romantic destination for the holidays, she lied on the application and said she owns Love Light Farms with her boyfriend. Only there is no boyfriend. Enter best friend Luca Peters. He just came home for some hot chocolate and somehow got a farm and a serious girlfriend in the process. So, again, we have a friends to lovers, small town, Hallmarky style Christmas romance. This is the first book in a series, which is a little intimidating because I'm not a series girl, but this sounds so cute and like one that I would really love, and I've heard so many good things about it. It has a 4.18 average star rating on Goodreads, and I'm just like, this is also a really good contender to be added to my TBR. The next book on my list is another beloved book in the community, and that is The 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayless. I have had this book on and off of my Goodreads TBR for the last couple of years. I just haven't quite decided if it's a book that I want to read, and I don't really know why. It's just gone on and off. But what has made it come back onto my TBR, what has made me really excited for this book, is my friend Rachel told me that this book is kind of like the adult British version of 10 Blind Dates by Ashley Elston. So if you don't know, I read 10 Blind Dates by Ashley Elston for Christmas last year, and it is my current all-time favorite Christmas book. It is a YA Christmas romance, and again, I don't always like YA books, but this one was so cute, and it's about this girl who has this messy breakup, and her grandmother decides to tell, this is kind of like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that book up because you guys need to read this one if you haven't already, but her grandmother with like the family members set her up with 10 blind dates for Christmas, and it is the cutest story. It has my favorite trope, which I've already mentioned, so it's a little bit of a spoiler, but it says that like you know the whole time. But it's just so cute. It's just so cute, and I love it so much. It was 5 stars. And now back to The 12 Days of Christmas. Rachel said this was the adult British version of that. So this one follows our main character, 34-year-old Kate Turner. She's not really in the Christmas spirit, and her best friend ends up signing her up for this dating agency that promises to help singles find love before the holidays. So now Kate has 23 days left till Christmas and 12 dates to go on. Not only is she having to endure all of this, but the town is keeping up with her misadventures. But this is also one of those stories where Kate has to remind herself that sometimes love, like mistletoe, shows up where it's least expected. And maybe, just maybe, it's been right under her nose all along. Do we have another Friends to Lovers story? Maybe! Next up, I have Blame It on the Mistletoe by Beth Garrett. This is another young adult Christmas romance that I saw a lot of people talk about last year, but I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about this year. It says, Tweet Cute meets the movie The Holiday in this funny holiday rom-com where 2 very different girls swap lives for a Christmas adventure. Elle is a social media star with a dream life, or so it seems. Determined to shake up her content and gain new followers, she's on a mission. Can she find a British fan to swap with her for Christmas? Holly loves everything about Christmas, but after a mortifying mistletoe disaster with her ex, her perfect plans unravel like a bad Christmas sweater. Can Holly save the holidays when she switches places with favorite social media influencer? Elle gets more than she bargained for when she meets the cute boy from across the street, and Holly wasn't expecting Elle to have a handsome twin brother. This holiday is full of surprises. The thing that really turns me on to this book is that it is compared to The Holiday, and it's basically the same setup, but like YA. So that's what's piqued my interest there. It doesn't have as high of a star rating on Goodreads. It's just 3.39 and only 1,873 ratings. But the cover is super cute, and I think it could potentially be one that I enjoy. Then I have Once Upon a December by Amy E. Riker. This is a new release that a lot of people have been really excited for. This is the same author as the Kindred Spirits Supper Club, which I own that book. It is on my TBR, mostly because it gives me Dead Romantics vibes. But I think I want to read that book before I read this one, but this is still a book that I would be interested in. It follows our main character, Astra Noel Snow, and she typically loves the holidays, but she is going through a stinging divorce. So she's making her yearly trip to the Milwaukee Christmas market. But this year she meets Jack Clausen. He is this stranger who owns this shop in the Christmas market, but I think there's a little bit of a magical realism aspect here because it says, the jewel mart with its snowy lights and charming shop stays the same, while the world outside the joyful streets changes, magically leaping from one December to the next every 4 weeks. So I don't know, I think maybe Jack is trapped in this time thing. I have no idea. I'm reading into this a little much. It's one of those synopses that can be confusing, I think. So I don't know, I think there's a magical realism aspect, but it may be, I'm not really sure what the trope is here, maybe Grumpy Sunshine, I'm not really sure, but I think it sounds really cute, and it's definitely one I would be interested in reading in a future Christmas TBR. Then we have another popular one. It is One Last Gift by Emily Stone. I did read this author's debut novel last year called Always in December, and I gave it 4 stars. The one thing about her books, I do think she has a little bit of Emily Henry taste in her books, like the banter, and also the fact that it's a story that not only focuses on romance, but that has some hard-hitting elements as well. So those aren't necessarily my favorite types of Christmas reads. I think I'm more on the happy, hallmarky, but still having a really good story with a little bit of hard-hitting in it. I don't really know what I like. Do I know what I like? Who knows? But I'm not sure if she's a favorite. So this might be like my last chance for this author, even though I've only read one of her books. And I did give it 4 stars. I liked it, but I just don't think it's the type of read I like to read for Christmas. But this book sounds really, really good. And it has an element that I really love. It involves letters. It says, when a young woman finds herself lost and at a crossroads, one last gift from her brother just might give her another chance at life and at love. So Cassie and Tom lost their parents at a young age and relied on each other as well as a community of friends to get through it, especially Tom's best friend Sam, who always made sure Tom and Cassie were surrounded with love. But now 20 years later, Cassie's lost Tom as well, and in a way, she's also lost Sam. Over the years, they've drifted apart, and now the man she always had a crush on is someone she doesn't even recognize anymore. She's never felt more alone. Then she finds an envelope with her name on it, written in Tom's terrible handwriting, and she knows immediately what it is. It's the first clue in the Christmas scavenger hunt Tom made for her every year. He'd promised her for months that this year's would be the grandest one yet. At first, she's too scared to open it. What if she can't figure out the clues without his help? Or what if she does figure them all out, and her last connection to Tom is gone? Tom's clues set Cassie on a heart-wrenching and beautiful journey that will change her life, if she lets them. And as she travels from London to the Welsh mountains to the French countryside, she reconnects with old friends, rekindles a lost love, and most importantly, rediscovers herself. But once she's solved the final clue, will she be brave enough to accept the gift her brother has given her and the love it's led her to? I feel like this has a lot of elements. And I've heard that it doesn't focus on the romance as much as it does the other elements in the story. So I'm not sure if that's something I would like or not. I don't really know, but I do want to give this book a chance. I love the letters aspect. I love the scavenger hunt aspect. I love the fact that this is a potential like brother's best friend to lover's story. I love that she's going to travel a lot, again, with the scavenger hunt. So I think it has a lot of elements that I would really love. Something that does turn me off from this author's books and other authors that do this is it's 400 pages. And I know to a lot of people that doesn't seem like a lot, but my sweet spot is 250 to 350 pages, especially for romances. So we shall see. I have one more Christmas romance to talk about, and that one is Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogle. And what really turned me on to this book is Rachel from A Library Fairy. So she read this book and she compared it to elements of Elf, which is one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies, and also elements of Snow Globe, which is an old ABC Family Christmas movie. And I love that movie. Like, both of those are some of my all-time favorites. So I was sold at that. I don't even really remember what the story is about, but like, you just told me two of my favorite Christmas movies are like elements in this book. So how could I not be interested? So basically the story is about Betty Hughes, and she is on social media like pretending that she is living this extravagant lifestyle, but actually she is squatting in Colorado and her family has no idea. But then one day she gets drunk one night and she plays the record for All I Want for Christmas backwards, and she ends up conjuring up Hall, which is an unexpectedly charming holiday spirit in the form of a man. I mean, what? What is this? Once the shock wears off, Betty knows she stumbled upon the greatest gift, a chance to make all her holiday wishes come true, plus a ready-made fiance. Does this not sound like the most intriguing concept in a book? I mean, so basically I think that Betty only has so much time with Hall, and the more that she starts to embody the Christmas spirit and show goodwill toward all men, the less time she has with Hall, because that is kind of why he is there. So this will be an interesting romance. Okay, moving on from Christmas romances, if you are looking for a little bit more of a spooky Christmas read, let me go ahead and introduce you to the Valancourt book of Victorian Christmas Ghost Stories by Tara Moore. So this is a compilation, well actually this isn't by Tara Moore, she's the editor. So there's different authors that have come together to put this collection of Victorian Christmas ghost stories together. They are culled from rare 19th century periodicals, and I think that's really interesting. I heard Liv from Liv's Library talk about this a year or two ago, and I haven't really heard anybody else talk about it or read it, so I'm really interested. It is a short story collection. And it says, during the Victorian era, it became traditional for publishers of newspapers and magazines to print ghost stories during the Christmas season for chilling winter reading by the fireside or candlelight. Now, for the first time, 13 of these tales are collected here, including a wide range of stories from a diverse group of authors, some well-known, others anonymous or forgotten. Readers whose only previous experience with Victorian Christmas ghost stories has been Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol will be surprised and delighted at the astonishing variety of ghostly tales in this volume. So I think this is really cool. So if you like a little bit more classics, maybe this is a good one for you. It is short. It's only 292 pages, but I think that's a really interesting read, again, if you are someone who wants something a little bit more spooky this season. I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off of that and go into my middle grade books that are on my Goodreads TBR. So this first one is called Christmas Dinner of Souls by Ross Montgomery. This is also a short story collection that I have really been interested in for the past couple of years. I think things like this are kind of stemming from my love of A Nightmare Before Christmas. And this one says, it's a dark and lonely Christmas Eve in the dining room of Ancient Souls College. The kitchen boy, 11-year-old Lewis, has helped prepare a highly unusual meal made with unrecognizable ingredients cooked by a mysterious chef. And then the guests arrive, and carnage ensues. They are ex-students of Souls College, and they are all completely demented. They demand bottle after bottle of wine, flinging their cutlery and howling like banshees until silence. The dean of Souls College has arrived, and the evening ceremonies must begin. For this is the annual meeting of a secret club for those who despise children, warmth, happiness, and above all, Christmas. Each member must try to outdo the others by telling the most terrible, disgusting story they know. So again, I think this is good for people who do enjoy Christmas but want a little bit of spookiness tossed in as well. The next Christmas middle grade that I have on my list is the Very Merry Murder Club, and this is another compilation of Christmas stories, and I just really think this is going to be a fun one, especially because it's a murder mystery compilation. It says a wintry middle grade mystery collection of short stories by 13 of the most exciting and diverse authors in children's books today. I love the little blurb on this. It's like, sleuthing through the snow on a merry mysterious day, in disguise we go, investigating all the way. Like, yes, please. I'm so excited. Like, I wanted to read this one this year, but I think you have to get it from Book Depository. It's not available in the States. The cover and the Under the Dust Jacket cover are super cute with this. And like I said, it's like a kid's murder mystery, and I loved books like Midnight at the Barclay Hotel, so I feel like this would be a really good one to pick up. Another Christmas middle grade that I'm really excited to read is No Ordinary Thing by G.Z. Schmidt. It says 12-year-old Adam is whisked away from his imperfect but quiet life with the arrival of a stranger and a magical promise in this time travel mystery. Can you tell I'm all about like the Christmas mysteries right now, especially in middle grade? Time traveling is no ordinary thing, but that's what awaits 12-year-old Adam when he finds a snow globe. And I love snow globes, y'all. I love snow globes and time traveling. I didn't even mention that. But the snow globe that allows him to journey into the past. The snow globe whisks Adam from his home and introduces him to a succession of unusual characters along the way. Strangely, each individual seems to have a past that is interwoven with Adam's own. 100 years ago in the streets of New York City, the famous magician and candle maker extraordinaire Albert the Excellent hopes to dazzle the world with his magic, but instead stumbles upon a mysterious entity known as the Time Touch. As the two storylines unravel, they reveal a single thread that ties Adam and Albert's past together. At the center of their histories lies an abandoned candle factory, a factory that claimed multiple lives in a tragic fire years ago, one that Adam might be able to prevent. And lastly, let's go into the two cozy Christmas mysteries that I'm interested in. Cozy mysteries are still fairly new to me. It's a fairly new genre I've delved into. I haven't quite determined whether or not I enjoy cozy mysteries or not because I've only read 3 and I gave them 4, 2.5, and 2 stars. So we're gonna see, but I am interested in these two. And this one, this just sounds like my perfect cozy. It's called In Peppermint Peril by Joy Avon. Gwen actually introduced me to this book. I had never heard of it before, and I think it's on her radar as well. It says, this Christmas, Callie Aspen returns to her childhood hideout, Harts Harbor, Maine, where her great aunt runs Book Tea, a vintage tea room where every sweet treat contains a bookish clue. Excuse me? That sounds so fun. Like that alone. I don't even need to read more, but let me tell you the rest of it. Upon arrival in the fairy tale snowy town, Callie is drawn into the preparations for a special tea party at Haywood Hall. The rambling house of Harts Harbor's oldest resident, rich but lonely widow Dorothy Finster, who invited her estranged relatives, old friends, and the elite of the town to make a mysterious announcement about her will. Believing they can touch a part of her fortune, everybody is determined to come, despite not liking each other or even their hostess. And Callie's old friend Sheila complicates things by using the tea party to announce her daughter's engagement, even though her daughter isn't sure she's in love with the young lawyer her mother thinks so perfect for her. Catering to people who each have their own agenda isn't easy for the Book Tea crew, especially once the valuable engagement ring goes missing and a dead body turns up in the conservatory. Can Callie and her great aunt use their love of clues to dig into the crimes and show their unhappy hostess and squabbling guest the true Christmas spirit? That sounds like such a dramatic time, and it sounds so good. This is the first book in the Book Tea Shop mystery series, so also the cover of this is just so cute. And the last cozy mystery book recommendation I have actually comes from Caitlin from Pride and Paperback. She recently read Christmas at Fireside Cabins by Jenny Hale. And it's set in Tennessee, I'm pretty sure in the Smoky Mountains. That is like my happy place. I do live in Tennessee, but I live in West Tennessee and the Smoky Mountains is in East Tennessee. But I spent so many years of my childhood and still in my adulthood visiting the Smoky Mountains. It is one of my favorite vacation destinations. Gatlinburg is the place to be. But I've never actually gone during the holidays, believe it or not. I usually go on like a summer vacation or something like that, but I've always wanted to go in like the fall or winter months because extra festivities. So this is going to give me all of the Smoky Mountain Christmas snowy vibes that I want. It says, escape to the idyllic small town of Pinewood Hills and this enchanting romance about falling in love under the mistletoe with a sprinkle of Christmas magic. For Lila Evans, Christmas is the toughest time of year. A heartbreaking reminder of losing her father and just how lonely she is. This year, she's organized a blissful getaway with her closest friends, just the remedy for the December blues. The countryside resort of Fireside Cabins tucked away in the snowy Tennessee hills seems like this year's perfect setting to get into the festive spirit. But it's far from a winter wonderland. The crumbling cottage is falling apart and the owner, a widow named Eleanor Finley, confesses that the cabins are on the brink of closure. Lila and her friends should pack their bags right there and then, but Lila can't bear to leave the tearful elderly woman. She clearly has no one, and Lila more than anyone knows how that feels. In search of holiday cheer, the women find a local coffee shop, but the rugged surly owner, Theo Perry, has an apparent aversion to Christmas, seeming downright angry when Lila asks for a peppermint latte. No one in the area knows who he is, but it's clear he's running from something. Yet there's more to this small town than Theo's frosty reception. As much as his coldness infuriates her, Lila can't deny that on the rare occasion when he does smile, it feels like coming home. Plus, the cabins are just calling for some festive sparkle. And unexpectedly, Pinewood Hills could hold a new beginning for Lila. But can she save Fireside Cabins in time for Christmas? With a dusting of festive magic, spice apple cider, and sugar plum pie, could this be the first holiday she doesn't spend alone? I'm also now realizing this isn't really a cozy mystery. It's like a cozy Hallmarky Christmas romance. And I don't know why in my head I was like, this is a cozy mystery, because there's not like a murder mystery, but it still sounds like a cozy book. Can we just put it in the cozy romance category? We'll just do that. But either way, this sounds like it's going to be both hard-hitting with the elements of grief, but also like it could be like a grumpy sunshine Christmassy romance trope. And I think it just sounds absolutely perfect. So those are all of the Christmas books on my Goodreads TBR. Maybe I'll add one of those to my December TBR this year. If not, maybe I'll get to some of them next year. We'll just have to wait and see. But I did want to go ahead and share those with you guys because, like I said, I've only really shared the books on my current TBR with you and wanted to share those too, just in case you needed a few extra recommendations. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave the little coffee or teacup emoji, because I think of all of these, the one I'm still thinking about is in Peppermint Peril, because that just sounds like the funnest, coziest, like just wildest ride of a Christmas cozy mystery. So definitely leave that down below if you've made it this far. Also, if you want to vote on which book you think I should add to my December TBR, leave me a comment down below and let me know which book you would prefer I add to my TBR. I'm not saying that I will pick the one that's most voted for, but it could influence my decision. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up here, but as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.